So, you want to know how to counter Orisa. You tried some counter picks already, but you can't seem to find a way to win. If so, you're at the right place. In this video, I'll go over what you can start doing now to win more games against Orisa. As always, I'll go over her kit, the general strategy, tips to counter her, and we end on the best counter picks for each role. First of all, to counter Orisa, you fully need to understand how her kit works. As a primary fire, she has an automatic based weapon that deals a decent amount of damage, about 6 to 12 per shot, depending on the distance. The important thing to know here is that technically Orisa does not have a set amount of ammo. She can fire for 5 seconds straight without reloading. However, she has a way to not overheat, and that's good to know as she can fire for longer if she's played correctly. As a secondary fire, Orisa throws an energy javelin. It does 60 damage on impact and 40 if the enemy hits a wall. It also stuns for a short amount. Fortify is her L shift ability. In this state, Orisa becomes golden and gains 125 over health. She also reduces the damage she takes by 40% and becomes immune to crowd control. It lasts for 4.5 seconds and has a cooldown of 12. It also reduces the heat from her primary fire, so if used correctly, Orisa can fire for far more than 5 seconds without overheating. Fun fact, in this state, Orisa is also immune to headshots, so no point aiming for her head. Javelin spin is her E ability. Orisa spins her javelin and destroys incoming projectiles and melee attacks. She gains 50% movement speed while spinning and 20% when the animation is done. All in all, it lasts for 1.75 seconds and has a 7 seconds cooldown. Last but also her worst ability is Terra Surge, Orisa's ultimate. She gains 125 over health again and pulls all the enemy in a radius of about 9 meters to her. She then smashes her javelin and does a decent amount of damage. The more she spins, the more damage she does. Now that you know how her kit works, we can cover the strategy behind Orisa's playstyle. Right now, in the meta that we're in, I would say that Orisa is the second best tank behind Zarya for absorbing damage. However, the downside is that it's really all she does. Orisa is heavily reliant on her cooldowns. When Fortify and Javelin spins are up, she will gladly come right up to your face and absorb all your damage in one go. She then backs off and does that all over again. Rinse and repeat. Her kit is very strong in 1v1s. If she finds a squishy out of position, she can get there fairly quickly, throws her javelin, and one-shot him if it lands. The way you want to counter Orisa is to keep track of her cooldown and to play around them. Do not throw all your abilities if you see her use Fortify. You won't kill her, and she will kill you since now you have no more abilities. Think of her Fortify as a lesser version of Zarya's bubble. If you see it up, leave her alone. Go do something else. Now, what are the best picks to counter Orisa? Before I start, I would like to make something very clear. All counters are only counters if you actually play the matchup right. Picking a counter and not knowing what to do won't help you at all. You will most likely still lose. So always pick a good counter and then also apply the tips. As a tank player, you can always pick Zarya since she's the most played tank in higher elos. You can counter her javelin by bubbling yourself or your teammate. Overall, in a 1v1 situation, Zarya never loses to Orisa. This might not age well as Zarya is getting nerfed soon, but know that for now you can always pick Zarya to fully counter Orisa. There are two other tanks that are also very good against Orisa, but you'll have to change your playstyle if you're not used to it. Winston works well. Remember earlier when I said to get busy if you see Orisa's Fortify? Well, Winston is the best at doing just that. You never want to waste time on attacking Orisa as Winston. Fortify or not, jump above and away from her and get busy. Do everything and anything you want. Orisa has no real way to follow you. If you jump far enough and disrupt their supports, Orisa would have to pick between staying in front or peeling for her team. Either way she chooses, it's a win-win for you. D.Va works exactly the same way. You fly above and away from her. Again, you don't spend time firing at Orisa. Go disrupt and be an annoyance for their supports and DPS. Also, D.Va can absorb the javelin with defense metrics, which is a plus. I personally prefer Winston, but either works well. Do not pick Roadhog. Orisa is one of the best tanks against Hog. Although she's easy to hit with the hook, she can instantly fortify and save herself. You just wasted a full rotation of abilities on her. She'll then kill you since you have no more abilities. It's a bad matchup overall in high and low elos. As a damage player, the best pick is Sojourn. Orisa's hitbox makes it incredibly easy for Sojourn to spam and build her one tap. This is actually the reason that I don't see any Orisas in high elo. It's way too easy to build up one tap and to turn around and headshot their supports or DPS. Reaper is also good, but remember that he's literally made for killing tanks. So he's not a specific counter, but with the right team comp, Reaper has the ability to quickly dispose of Orisa. You get in her face when she has no cooldowns and it's game over. By the time her cooldowns are back, You already killed her and her supports. Think of Orisa as a Rhine with no shield. She's easy to hit. Do not pick Junkrat into this matchup. She can easily counter all your damage with Fortify. Also, Junkrat's bomb won't work on Orisa. It's not a good matchup for Junkrat. Pick anything else and it will most likely work better. As a support player, the best pick is Zenyatta, and by far. Orisa doesn't have a shield, so one Discord orb and she's most likely dead. But again, you have to time it right with her cooldowns. Also, Orisa has no way to get to you, so you're relatively safe, unless you're frontlining. So basically all you have to do is sit there and throw your Discord orb after she uses Javelin Spin. Very easy matchup for Zen. Ana is also good for the same reasons. You're relatively safe. Orisa's hitbox is almost as big as Ryan's, so it should be fairly easy for you to hit her with your shots and your sleep. If you position well, she won't ever get to you. Plus, Ana is one of the best support in the game right now. Add some good positioning and some decent aim and it's always a good pick. There is not a support that is hard countered by Orisa per se, but Zenyatta and Ana are by far the best picks in this matchup. You can play other supports, but you'll find yourself in a neutral or maybe even slightly Orisa favored matchup. Overall, Orisa is a strong pick, but she's far from being overpowered. She is easily countered and good players know how to play around her cooldowns, and that's why she's rarely seen in high elo. Her playstyle is heavily reliant on those, so dealing with her is doable if you have an idea on how to do it. If you're still here, you now fully know how to counter Orisa, so apply these tips in your next casual or calm game against Orisa and let me know how it went in the comments below.